Oh my god, I didn't realize you guys couldn't hear the music. What? Oh, let me fix that. What happened to the music? I'm sitting here thinking you guys were hearing music the whole time. You guys are not hearing anything. Oh no. One second. It's gonna be dark for a second, guys. Cause what happened to it? Oh, here. Okay. Okay. Now you should hear music. I'm so upset. I thought you guys were hearing music the whole time. But hi guys, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're all having a good day. Let me scroll up and say hi. Let's see. Hi Dark Ferrex, how are you? Good afternoon. Hi Lich. Hi Ricksky Tilt. Also, good job getting first squirrel of the day. Hi Darth. Hi Shrimpnello. How are you? Good afternoon. Hi Brando. Thank you for the positivity check-in, Brando. I appreciate you. Hi Lich. Hi Twilight Celestial. Fact of the day, Savvy is the most amazing, sweetest, funnest, bestest, cutest, and nicest person alive. She always knows how to put a smile on your face. She always has the best energy. I'm so grateful that Savvy has created this amazing community. Thank you for everything. No, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being here to watch and support me. I appreciate you so much more than you know. Thank you so much, Darth, for always being so kind. And hi, welcome in. Hi, Asriel. Hi, DG. Hi, Jester. What you reading? We're gonna be reading Warbreaker. I'm very excited. I hope you guys are excited. Yeah, we're gonna be reading Warbreaker. So we've been reading this for a while. So we are just gonna be continuing it. Hi, Celestial. Huggies for you all. Thank you for the huggies. I appreciate you, Celestial. Hi, Schematic. Good afternoon. But yeah, we're just gonna be continuing Warbreaker. I'm excited because we haven't read it in a little while. We've been getting Thursdays canceled for a while. But now it's on Sundays. So we're gonna do 2 hours of Warbreaker. And then after that, we will continue, what is it called? We will do 2 hours of short horror films. So if you guys like spooky stuff, make sure you stick around or come back at 8 for the spooky stuff. Let me see. I'm off to sleep. Get a good eat. Oh, thank you for the follow, Melvoid. Good afternoon. How are you? I think welcome in. You're gonna love seeing my dinner tonight. What's for dinner? I'm so jealous. Hi, Tasha. And I'm not crunchy squirrel bits. What's for dinner? But yes, I hope you guys are excited. Before I start reading, I'll put up a little announcement so everyone knows I'm reading, because I'm gonna try to read and then I'll answer every now and then the chat. That way I can not disturb the story for anyone that wants to hear it. Hi Epic, good afternoon. How are you? What's up guys? What's up? How are you? I hope you're having a good day. Let me switch over so we can get the game on. So I like to play, I don't know if you guys remember, we're gonna have the little Lo-Fi City session things. I think it's very fun, so we're gonna try that. Let me put that up. I put it in the Discord for you to see. It's Alfredo. Oh my god, I'm so jealous. It's Alfredo. I haven't had Alfredo pasta in forever. Let me check it out. Let me go take a look. Let me take a look at it. Oh my god, I am jealous. I am jealous. It looks so good. Hi, Vulcan. Good afternoon. How are you? I'm so jealous. I'm good. Good day. Trying to figure out what game to stream tonight. Otherwise, doing good. How are you? I'm doing good. It's nice to see you. And I'm glad you're having a good day. And welcome back, Squirrel. Hi, welcome back, Vulcan. And welcome back from ads, everyone. So now that ads are over, I'm gonna go ahead and play the little lo-fi music. Do you guys want to hang out on the bed again or like the beanbag? I say let's do the beanbag this time. We didn't do that last time. Let me see. I'm gonna also do pull out my storybook. There we go. We got my storybook out. I hope you guys are excited. Let me fix this thingy. Okay. Still doing good? I'm glad you're doing good. I hope you're ready for some story time. Hi, Legendary. Good afternoon. How are you? Yes, I got my book out and my reading glasses on. Let me post a little message. I am reading. Oh, thank you for the sub. That was a lot louder than I expected. Thank you for resubscribing, Legendary. I appreciate you. Let me hydrate real quick. My throat is still slightly sore, so if I'm reading weird, I'm gonna like pause and what is the word, like hydrate before I continue, like if I start having more sore throats. Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. Okay, here we go. I will pin this so then anyone that wants to see can see it. And then let me just turn the game down a little bit so I don't have to like yell, because I wonder if I could turn the ambience down. I feel like the rain is very loud. Sounds. Oh, there we go. We could turn it down. Do you want rain or do you want a fireplace? The fireplace is nice. We're gonna do the rain, or we could turn down the rain and just do the fireplace. We'll do the fireplace today. I don't know why, that's my vibe I'm feeling today. Just the crackling of the fireplace. Okay, I hope you guys are excited. We're gonna start reading. So we left off and we are at chapter 14. So I don't know if you guys remember. Oh, sorry, one second. Right now the sister is working with some people to come and break out the sister. So the older sister is working to help break out the younger sister. So the younger sister got married to the God King instead of the older sister. So the older sister snuck into the town because she wants to go and save her sister, because she doesn't think her sister can handle being married to the God King. So right now we're at the part with Viviana, who's the older sister, who's gonna help break out her younger sister. But I think that was chapter 13, so we're moving to chapter 14. And right now it's on the part with Light Song, which is the God King. Okay? I hope you guys are excited. Let me like hydrate real quick, 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna start reading, so I hope you all got your snackies and you're all cozy. And I hope you enjoy. Thank you for joining me. Oh, we should have kept the rain. The first sentence is it's raining. We should have kept the rain. It's raining, Light Song noted. Very astute, Your Grace, Larimar said. Walking beside his god, I'm not fond of the rain. So you have often noted, Your Grace. I am a god, Light Song said. Shouldn't I have the power over the weather? How can it rain if I don't want it to? There are currently 25 gods in the court. Perhaps there are more who desire the rain than those who don't. Light Song's robe of gold and red rustled as he walked. The grass was cool and damp beneath his sandaled toes. But a group of servants carried a wide canopy over him. Rain fell softly on the cloth. Hi, Big Bromber. Hi, Shade. Welcome in. Good afternoon. Until your rainfalls were common, but they were never very strong. Lightsong would have liked to have seen the true rainstorm, like people said occurred out in jungles. I'll take a poll then, Lightsong said. Of the other gods, see how many of them wanted it to rain today. If you wish, your grace, Larimar said. It won't prove much. It'll prove whose fault this is, Lightsong said. And if it turns out that most of us wanted to stop raining, perhaps that will start the theological crisis. Larimar, of course, didn't seem bothered by the concept of the god trying to undermine his own religion. Your grace, he said, our doctrine is quite sound, I assure you. And if the gods don't want it to rain, yet it still does, would you like it to be sunny all the time, your grace? Lightsong shrugged. Sure. And the farmers? Larimar said. Their crops would die without rain. It can rain on the crops, Lightsong said. Just not in the city. A few selective weather patterns shouldn't be too much for a god to accomplish. The people need water to drink. Monty! I'm gonna put you in timeout. The people need water to drink, your grace, Larimar said. The streets need to be washed clean. And what of the plants in the city? The beautiful trees? Even this grass that you enjoy walking across? Hi, Bragg! Good afternoon! Hi, Monty! All of this would die if the rain did not fall. Well, Lightsong said, I could just will them to continue living. And that is what you do, your grace, Larimar said. Your soul knows that the rain is best for the city. And so it rains. False alarm, I'm sorry. It's okay, Monty. Despite what your conscience thinks, Lightsong frowned. By that argument, you could claim that anyone was a god, Larimar. And Monty, I knew it was you that threw the snacks at me because you're the only one that does that. No, actually everyone does it, but I knew it was you. I knew it was you. You do it the most. You definitely do it the most. Not just anyone comes back from the dead, your grace. Nor do they have the power to heal the sick. And they certainly don't have your ability to foresee the future. Good points. Lightsong thought as they approached to the arena. The large circular structure was at the back of the Court of the Gods, outside the ring of palaces that surrounded the courtyard. Lightsong's entourage moved inside, red canopies still held above him, and entered the sand-covered arena yard. Then they moved up a ramp. Hi, Afro! Good afternoon! How are you, Fro? I love how she knew without looking. Yeah, I always know it's you. Was it me this time? Yeah, that's Afro's entrance, is the knocking. Oh my god, it's that squirrel. Hi, Fro. It's long past afternoon. Well, in your time zone. In my time zone is like afternoon. 6 p.m. is like afternoon, I think. Roses are red, violets are blue. Is that a fluffy squirrel? I think it is too. Hi, Robin. How are you? Good afternoon. Hobbies. I love attack. Wait, no story? Yes, I'm gonna start the story again in a minute. Welcome in, Afro. You didn't really miss much. They're just talking about the rain right now. Hey, fluffy squirrel. Hi, how are you? Good afternoon. Okay, here we go. So Lightsong wants to control the weather, basically, is right now what they're talking about. Hi, Krista Cat. Thank you for your positivity. I appreciate you. Where are we? I lost my spot. Okay, here we go. Lightsong's entourage moved inside the red canopy. Moved inside. Red canopy still head above him, and entered the sand-covered arena yard. Then they moved up a ramp toward the seating area. The arena had 4 rows of seats for ordinary people, stone benches accommodating Tillier citizens who were favored, luckily, or rich enough to get themselves into assembly a session. The upper reaches of the arena were reserved for the returned. Here, close enough to hear what was said on the arena floor, yet far enough back to remain stately were their boxes. Ornately carved in stone, they were very large enough to hold a god's entire entourage. Roses are red, battery juice is tasty, her hands are sticky. After eating the sweets, that's crazy, Afro. Hates me so bad. Also, why the timer should not be going off? That's from my D&D. Sorry, guys. Let me just mute that. That should not be happening. Okay, there we go. I just turned it off, so it should be fine. And I'm not sticky, Afro. But thank you for your positivity, Krista Cat, if I didn't say that. Hi, thank you, thank you. Okay, here we go. Lightsong could see that several of his colleagues had arrived. Band Sergeant Acorn. Marked by the colorful canopies that sat above their boxes. Life Blesser was there, as was Mercy Star. They passed by the empty box usually reserved for Lightsong, and made their way around the ring and approached a box topped with a green pavilion. Blushweaver lounged inside. Her green and silver dress was lavish, revealing, as always. Despite its rich trim and embroidery, it was a little more than a long swath of cloth with a hole in the center for her head and some ties. That left it completely open on both sides, from the shoulder to the calf, and Blushweaver's thighs curved out lusciously on either side. She sat up smiling. Lightsong took a deep breath. Blushweaver always treated him kindly. She certainly did have a high opinion of him, but he felt like he had been on guard at all times when he was around her. A man could be taken in by a woman such as she. Taken in, then never released. Lightsong, dear, she said, smiling more deeply as Lightsong's servant scuttled forward, setting up his chair, footrest, and a snack table. Blushweaver, Lightsong replied. My high priest tells me that you're to blame for this dreary weather. Hi, Jade. Good afternoon. Blushweaver raised an eyebrow, and to the side, standing with the other priest, Larimar flushed. I like the rain, Blushweaver finally said, lounging back on her couch. It's different. I like things that are different. Oh, thank you for the watch streak. Thank you for the 50 stream watch streak, Schematic. I appreciate your support. And I am doing well, Jade. I hope you're doing well. Oh, Blushweaver? Yeah, Blushweaver's the one that was trying to seduce him last time when the girl was waiting for him inside the room. I don't know if you remember. The one that was like laying down on the lawn chair in the yard last time. They're having another ceremony. She came back. I'm okay, just trying to cool down. Oh, I hope you stay cool. I hope it gets better. Blushweaver's the mega gooner. Yeah, really. Blushweaver raised an eyebrow. And to the side... Oh, I read that one. Sorry. Where am I? Then you should be thoroughly bored by me, my dear, Lightsong said, seating himself and taking a handful of grapes already peeled from the bowl on his snack table. Bored? Blushweaver asked. I strive for nothing if not mediocrity, and mediocrity is hardly different. In fact, I should say that it's highly in fashion in the court these days. You shouldn't say such things, Blushweaver said. Oh, thank you for the bits, Jade. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Did I miss a message? 30 degrees Celsius tomorrow? Oh, I hope it gets better. I'm so sorry. It's hot over here, too. It's definitely miserable over here. Thank you so much for the bits, Jade. I appreciate you. Hi, Ruby. Welcome in. No worries. I hope you're enjoying dinner. Thank you for the lurkies. You shouldn't say such things, Blushweaver said. The people might start to believe you. You mistake me. That's why I say them. I figure if I can't do properly defying miracles like control the weather, then I might as well settle for the lesser miracle of being one who tells the truth. Huh, she replied, stretching back, the tips of her fingers wiggling as she sighed in contentment. Our priests say that the purpose of the gods is not to play with the weather or prevent disasters, but to provide visions and service to people. Perhaps this attitude of yours is not the best way to see their interest. You're right, of course, like Song said. I've just had a revelation. Mediocrity isn't the best way to serve our people. What is it then? Medium rare on a bed of sweet potato medallions, I said, popping a grape in his mouth. He said, popping a grape in his mouth. With a slight garnish of garlic and a light wine sauce. I'm reading Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. You're incorrigible, she said, finishing her stretch. I am what the universe made me to be, my dear. You bow before the whims of the universe, then? What else would I do? I'd play with the weather. I'd pick whoever invented mint ice cream and have it keep raining on the guy day and night. Why? You don't like mint ice cream? I don't like it either, but I know a lot of people like it. My siblings like it a lot. I'm not a fan of it. Hi, Az. Good afternoon. I hope you're having a good day, Az. Why the abuse? What did I do to you? Hi, Az. Welcome in. Oh, thank you for the sub, Az. I'm sorry it's so loud. I have to change it so it's not so loud. I have to turn it down, but I haven't turned it down. I'm sorry it's so loud. It's kind of crazy. Thank you for the sub, Az. I appreciate you resubscribing. Thank you for your support. I thank you for the bits, Jade. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Na 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 na. I love that thing. 10 months I can't read. Oh, thank you, Az. 11 months I think it said. Thank you so much. And thank you for the head pats. Mint ice cream is the reason I have white hairs on my fro. I stay awake deep into the night gurring myself. What? That's crazy. Mint ice cream is the reason you have white hairs. You don't like mint ice cream? That's so bad. And thank you for the followage. Thank you, Jade. You bow before the winds of the universe, then? What else would I do? Fight it, Blushweaver said. She narrowed her eyes absently, reaching to take one of the grapes from Lightsong's hand. Fight with everything. Force the universe to bow to you instead. That's a charming concept, Blushweaver, but I believe that the universe and I are slightly different weight categories. I think you're wrong. Are you saying that I'm fat? She regarded him with a flat glance. I'm saying that you shouldn't be so humble, Lightsong. You're a god. A god who can't even make it stop raining. I want it to storm and tempest. Maybe this drizzle is a compromise between us. 8 months, that's crazy. Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome in, Pants Pantalones. Welcome in. I hope you're having a good day. Good afternoon. And thank you for being here for 8 months. I appreciate you, Jade. Right now, we're just reading Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. So I hope you have some snackies and I hope you're cozy and excited for story time. Lightsong popped another grape in his mouth. Squishing in between his teeth, feeling the sweet juice. Sorry, I gotta turn the page. Feeling the sweet juice leak onto his palate. She called my goat fat? Dump her, Lightsong. Go actually beat your wife that's you ghosted on your wedding night. I know, right? The wife he still hasn't even met her, which is crazy. But this is, remember, I don't know if you guys remember, last time she was talking about going to the box. I think this is the box they're talking about, so I think he's actually gonna meet her in just a second. I ran out of snacks. No! Go grab some. I'm gonna hydrate real quick because my throat still hurts, guys. Okay, I am sufficiently hydrated. Let me get back to the story. At that point, they should just allow her to go home. I really think it's more of like a hostage situation. They're just keeping her. Till he decides if he actually wants to be with her or not. I can't. It's 11:27. Oh no. I don't know. You don't have anything in your fridge you could use as a snack? Also, guys, I'm gonna continue. Nope. Oh, I'm sorry, Jade. I will give you some virtual snackies. He thought for a moment, chewing. Blushweaver, dear, he finally said. Is there some kind of subtext to our current conversation? Because as you might know, I am absolutely terrible with subtext. It gives me a headache. You can't get headaches, Blushweaver said. Well, I can't get subtext either. Far too subtle for me. It takes effort to understand, and effort is unfortunately against my religion. Blushweaver raised an eyebrow. A new tenet for those who worship you? Oh, not that religion, Lightsong said. I'm secretly a worshipper of Oster. He is such a delightfully blunt theology, black and white, no bothering with complications. Faith without any bothersome thinking. Blushweaver stole another grape. You just don't know Osterism well enough. It's complex. If you're looking for something really simple, you should try the Pankal faith. Lightsong frowned. Don't they just worship the return like the rest of us? No, they have their own religion. But everyone knows the Pankal are practically Halogen. And how exactly did we get onto this tangent anyways? Lightsong said. I swear, my dear, sometimes our conversations remind me of a broken sword. She raised an eyebrow. Sharp as hell, Lightsong said, but lacking a point. Blushweaver snorted quietly. You're the one who asked me to meet with me, Lightsong. Yes, but we both know that you wanted me to. What are you planning, Blushweaver? Blushweaver rolled her grape between her fingers. what she said. Lightsong sighed, waving for his servant to bring him some more nuts. One placed a bowl on the table and then came forward and began to crack them for him. First you implied that I should join with you. Now you won't tell me what you want me to do. I swear, woman, someday your ridiculous sense of drama is going to cause a cataclysmic problems. Like, for instance, boredom in your companions. Oh no, we do Spooky Sundays today too, but the Spooky Sunday is gonna start at 8 o'clock. So in 2 hours. So we read for 2 hours and then we're gonna do 2 hours of the spooky time. Bush Weaver just a walking red flag. So right now, yeah, she's just giving all the red flags. It's not drama, she said. It's respect. She nodded. Directly across the arena, where the God King's box still stood empty. Golden throne sitting on a pedestal above a box itself. Ah, feeling patriotic today, are we? It's more that I'm curious. About? Her. The Queen? Blush Weaver gave him a flat stare. Of course, her. Who else would I be speaking about? Lightsong counted off the days. It had been a week. Huh, he said to himself. Her period of isolation is over then. You really should pay more attention, Lightsong. He shrugged. Time tends to pass more quickly when you take no notice of it, my dear. In that, it's remarkably similar to most women I know. With that, he accepted a handful of nuts and settled back into his weight. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the short films will be in 2 hours. We read for 2 hours, then we're gonna do the short films. Apparently, the people of Tillier were fond of carriages. Not even to carry the gods. Siri sat somewhat bemused as a group of servants carried her chair across the grass toward a large circular structure at the back of the Court of Gods. It was raining. She didn't care. She'd been cooped up for far too long. She turned, twisting in her chair, looking back over a group of serving women who carried her dress's long golden train. Hi, Patrick. Good afternoon. Keeping her off the wet grass, around them all walked more women who held a large canopy to shield Siri from the rain. Could you move that aside? Siri asked. Let the rain fall on me. Oh, you had a pierogi? Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm supposed to make some, but I keep not doing it. I've been so busy for a while that I haven't made it. That's the one that I'm supposed to be making next, Patrick. Also, I'm sad you didn't take pictures. The serving women glanced at one another. Just for a little bit, Siri said. I promise. The woman shared frowns, but slowed, allowing Siri's porters to pull ahead and expose her to the rain. She looked up, smiling as the drizzle fell on her face. 7 days is far too long to spend indoors, she decided. She basked for a long moment, enjoying the cool wetness on her skin and clothing. The grass looked inviting. She glanced back again. I could walk, you know. Feel my toes on those green blades. Multiple pierogi, lots of garlic. You got an ice cream photo? That's enough? Hates me so bad. Hates me so bad, Patrick. I want all the photos. The serving woman looked very, very uncomfortable about that concept. Or not, Siri said, turning around as the women sped up again, covering the sky with their canopy. Walking was probably a bad idea, considering her dress's long train. Oh, hi, Firebug! Thank you for the lurkies! Hi, Patrick! She'd eventually chosen a gown far more daring than anything she'd ever worn before. The neckline was a touch low, and it had no sleeves. It also had a curious design that covered the front of her legs with a short skirt, yet was floor-length in back. She picked it up partially for the novelty, though she blushed every time the thought of how much leg it showed. And good night, Monty. Also, I'm glad you're enjoying the story time. Good night. Thank you for coming in. Soon they arrived at the arena, and her porters carried her up into it. Siri was interested to see that it had no ceiling and had sand-covered floor just above the floor. Just above the floor, a colorful group of people were gathering on the ranks of the benches. Though some of them carried umbrellas, many of them ignored the light rain, chatting amiably among themselves. Siri smiled at the crowd. 100 different colors, as many different clothing styles were represented. It was good to see the variety again, even if that variety was somewhat garish. Her porters carried her up to the large stone cleft built into the side of the building. Here, her women slid the canopy poles into the holes in the stone, allowing it to stand freely.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
I think for the hydrate, I shall hydrate. 1 second. Gonna hydrate. Thank you, Jade. And I hope you have a good night. Oh, you're saying good night to Monty? Okay, good night. Okay, I have hydrated. Okay. Okay. Her porters carried her up to the large stone cleft built into the side of the building. Here, her women slid the canopy poles into the holes of the stone, allowing it to stand freely and cover the entire box. Servants scuttled about, getting things ready, and her porters lowered her chair. She stood frowning. She was finally free of this palace, and yet it appeared she was going to have to sit above everyone else, even the other gods, who she assumed were in the other canopy boxes, were far away and separated from her by walls. How is it that they can make me feel alone, even when I'm surrounded by hundreds of people? She turned to one of her serving women. The God King, where is he? The woman gestured toward the other box. Like Siri's. He's in one of them, Siri asked. No, Vessel, the woman said, eyes downcast. He will not arrive until all the gods are here. Ah, Siri thought. Makes sense, I guess. No, it doesn't have a scary sound, Afro. That didn't scare me. She sat back in her chair as several servants prepared food. To the side, a minstrel began to play a flute, as if to drown out the sounds of the people below. She would rather have heard the people. Still, she decided not to let herself get into a bad mood. At least she was outside and she could see the other people. Even if she couldn't interact with them, she smiled to herself, leaning forward, elbows on knees, as she studied the exotic colors below. What was she to make of Tillier people? They were just so remarkably diverse. Some had dark skin, which meant they were from the edges of Haladrin Kingdom. Others had yellow hair, or even strange hair colors, blue, green, that came, Ciri assumed, from dyes. All wore brilliant clothing, as if there were no other options. Ornate hats were also popular, both on men and women. Clothing ranged from vests and shorts to long robes and gowns. How much time they must spend shopping. It was difficult enough for her to choose what to wear, and she had only about a dozen choices each day, and no hats. After she refused the first few, the servants had stopped offering them. Entourage after entourage arrived, bearing a different set of colors and a hue and a metallic. Usually, she counted the boxes. There was a room for about 50 gods, but the court only had a couple dozen. 25, wasn't it? In each procession, she saw a figure standing taller than the others. Some, mostly women, were carried on the chairs or couches. The men generally walked, some wearing intricate robes, others wearing nothing more than sandals and a skirt. Ciri leaned forward, studying one god as he walked right by her box. His bare chest made her blush, but it let her see his well-muscled body and toned flesh. He glanced at her, then nodded his head slightly in respect. His servants and priests bowed, almost to the ground. The god passed on, having said nothing. She sat back in her chair, shaking her head as one of the servants offered her food. There were still 4 or 5 gods left to arrive. Apparently the Haladrin deities weren't as punctual as Bluefinger's schedule keeping had led her to believe. Ain't no way they got her in a box like a hamster in a shelter. They do, though, they do. They have her like in a cage. It's so sad. And now we're back to her sister. Viviana stepped through the gates, passing into the Haladrin Court of Gods, which was dominated by a group of large palaces. She hesitated, and a small group of people passed through on either side of her. Though there wasn't much of a crowd, Dent had been right. It had been easy for her to get into the court. The priest at the gate had waved Viviana through without even asking her identity. They had even let Parlin pass, assuming him to be her attendant. She turned back, glancing at the priest in their blue robes. She could see bubbles of colorfulness around them, indications of their biochroma. She had been tutored about this. The priests guarding the gates had enough breath to get them to the first heightening. The state at which a person gained the ability to distinguish levels of breath in other people. Viviana had it too. It wasn't that auras of color or colors looked different to her. In fact, the ability to distinguish breath was similar to the pitch she had gained. Other people heard the same sounds she did. She just had the ability to pick them apart. She saw how close a person had to get to one of the priests before the colors increased. And she saw exactly how much more colors those hues became. This information let her know instinctively that each of the priests was of the first heightening. Parlin had one breath. The ordinary citizens, who had to present papers to gain entrance to the court, also each had only one breath. She could tell how strong that breath was, and if the person was sick or not. The priests each had exactly 50 breaths, as did the majority of the wealthier individuals entering through the gates. A fair number had at least 200 breaths, enough for the second heightening, and the perfect pitch it granted. Only a couple had more breaths than Viviana had, who had reached all the way to the third heightening. The perfect color perception the perfect color perception it granted. She turned away from her study of the crowd. She had been tutored about the heightenings, but she never expected to experience one firsthand. Not to brag, but I breathe hundreds of times every day. I think we all do. That's kind of concerning if you don't, Afro. She felt dirty, perverse, particularly because of the colors. The colors were just so beautiful. Her tutors had explained how the court was composed of a wide circle of palaces, but they had not mentioned how each palace was so harmoniously balanced in color. Each was a work of art, utilizing subtle color gradients that normal people just wouldn't be able to appreciate. These sat on a perfect, uniformly green lawn. It was trimmed carefully and was marred by neither road nor walkway. Viviana stepped onto it. Parlin at her side, she felt an urge to kick off her shoes and walk barefoot in the dew-moistened grass. That wouldn't be appropriate at all, and she stifled the impulse. The drizzle was finally starting to let up. Parlin lowered the umbrella he'd brought to keep them both dry. "So this is it," he said, shaking off the umbrella. "The court of gods." Viviana nodded. "Good place to graze sheep." "I doubt that," she said quietly. Parlin frowned. "Goats, then?" he said finally. Viviana sighed, and they joined a small procession walking across the grass toward a large structure outside. Outside the circle of palaces. She'd been worried about standing out. After all, she still wore her simple Idrian dress, with its high neck, practical fabric, and muted colors. She was beginning to realize that there just wasn't a way to stand out in Tillier. The people around her wore such stunning variety of costumes that she wondered who had the imagination to design them all. Some were as modest as Viviana's, and others had muted colors, though these were usually accented by bright scarves or hats. Modesty in both design and color was obviously unfashionable, but non-existent. It's all about drawing attention, she realized. The whites and faded colors are a reaction against the bright colors, but because everyone tries so hard to look distinctive, nobody does. Feeling a little more secure, she glanced at Parlin, who seemed more at peace now that they were away from the larger crowds in the city. "Interesting buildings," he said. "The people wear so much color, but the palace is just one color. I wonder why that is." "It's not one color. It's many different shades of the same color." Parlin shrugged. "Red is red." How could she explain? Each red was different, like notes on a musical scale. The walls of pure red, the roof tiles, the side columns, and other ornamentations were of slightly different shades, each distinct and intentional. The columns, for instance, formed stepping fits of color, and harmonizing with the base of tint of the walls. And I'm sorry, I'm still like a little sick, so I still have a stuffy nose and sore throat. So 1 second, guys. Okay. It was like a symphony of hues. The building had obviously been constructed for a person who had achieved the 3rd heightening. Not okay, get healthy? I'm trying. It won't go away, my sore throat and the stuffy nose. As only such a person would be able to see the ideal resonance to others. To others, well, it was just a bunch of red. They passed the Red Palace, approaching the arena. Entertainment was central to the lives of Haladrin gods. After all, when could it expect gods to do anything useful with their time? Often they were diverted in their large palaces or on the courtyard lawn. But for particularly large events, there was the arena, which also served as the location of the Haladrin legislative debates. Today, the priests would argue for the sport of their deities. Viviana and Parlin waited their turn as the people crowded the arena entrance. Viviana glanced toward another gateway, wondering why nobody used it. The answer was manifested as a figure approached. He was surrounded by servants, carrying a canopy. All were dressed in blue and silver. And sorry, I have to move Tiki. He's biting the book. Okay. All were dressed in blue and silver, matching their leader who stood a good head taller than the others. He gave a biochromatic aura such as Viviana had never seen, though admittedly, she'd been able to see them only for a few hours. His bubble of enhanced color was enormous. It extended nearly 30 feet. To her first heightening senses, the god's breath registered as infinite, immeasurable. For the first time, Viviana could see that there was something different about the return. They weren't just awakeners with more power. It was like they had only a single breath, but the breath was so immensely powerful that it single-handedly propelled them into the upper heightenings. The god entered the arena through the open gateway. Oh, thank you for the 7-stream watch streak, Seth. I appreciate you. Welcome in. Good afternoon. Found something to snack on? What'd you get? What's your snacky? I hope it's a good snack. Oh, did I miss it? Oh yeah, here we go. Pizza? Oh, I'm so jealous. Oh my god, I could go for a good pizza right now. As she watched him, Viviana's sense of awe disappeared. There was an arrogance in this man's posture, a dismissiveness to the way he entered freely while others waited their turn at the overcrowded entrance. To keep him alive, Viviana thought, he has to absorb a person's breath each week. She'd let herself become too relaxed, and she felt her revulsion return. Color and beauty couldn't cover up such an enormous conceit, nor could it hide the sin of being a parasite living on the common people. The god disappeared into the arena. Viviana waited, thinking for some time about her own biochroma and what it meant. She was completely shocked when this man beside her suddenly lifted off the ground. The man rose into the air, lifted by his unusually long cloak. The cloth had stiffened, looking like a hand as it held up the man. Oh my god, sorry. The cloth had stiffened, looking like a hand as it had held up the man up so high so he could see over the crowd. How does it do that? She'd been told that the breath could give life to objects, but what did life mean? It seemed as if the fibers in the cloak were taut, like muscles. But how did it lift something so much heavier than it was? The man descended to the ground. He muttered something Viviana couldn't hear. And his biochromatic aura grew stronger as he recovered his breath from the cloak. "We should be moving again soon," the man said to his friends, the crowd thinning up ahead. Indeed, the crowd started to progress. It wasn't too long before Viviana and Parlin entered the arena itself. They moved through the stone benches, choosing a place that wasn't too crowded. And Viviana looked urgently through the boxes set above. The building was ornate, but not really very big, so it didn't take her long to locate Siri. When she did, her heart sank. "My sister," Viviana thought with a chill. "My poor sister." Siri was dressed in a scandalous golden dress that didn't even come down to her knees. It also had a plunging neckline. Siri's hair, which she shouldn't even have been able to keep a dark brown, was instead the golden yellow of enjoyment. And there were deep ribbons woven through it, like she had been attended by dozens of servants. "Look what they've done to her," Viviana said. "She must be frightened senseless. Forced to wear something like that. Forced to keep her hair that color to match her clothing. Forced to be a slave to the God King." Parlin's square jaw face grew hard. He didn't often get angry, but Viviana could see it in him now. She agreed. Siri was being exploited. They were carrying her around and displaying her like some kind of trophy. It seemed to Viviana a statement. "Hi, Hobby Gobby. Hi, Shogi." Wow, doesn't cover the knees? How scandalous. Yeah, exactly. And her hair color, I don't know why it's so bad. They were saying that they could take a chaste, innocent Adrian woman and do whatever they wished with her. "What I'm doing is right," Viviana thought, with a growing determination. Coming to Haladrin was the best thing to do. Lemix might be dead, but I have to press onward. I have to find a way. I have to save my sister. "Viviana," Parlin said. "Huh?" Viviana asked, distracted. Why is everyone starting to bow? And now we're back to her sister. Siri played idly with one of the tassels in her dress. The final god seating himself in the box. That's 25, she thought. That should be all of them. Suddenly, out in the audience, people began to rise, then kneel to the ground. Siri stood, searching anxiously what she was missing. Had the God King arrived? Or was this something else? Even the gods had gone down to their knees. Though they didn't prostrate themselves, the mortals did. They all seemed to be bowing towards Siri. Some sort of ritual greeting for their new queen? Then she saw it. Her dress exploded with color. The stone at her feet gained luster, and her very skin began to shine more vibrant. In front of her, a white serving bowl began to shine. Then it seemed to stretch, the white color splitting into colors of the rainbow. A serving woman tugged on Siri's sleeve from where she knelt. "Vessel," the woman whispered, "behind you." And now we're at chapter 15. I think they're finally gonna meet. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Breath catching in her chest, Siri turned. She found him standing behind her. Though she had no idea how he had arrived, there was no entrance back there, just a stone wall. He wore white. She hadn't expected that. Something about his biochroma made the pure white split as she had seen before. Breaking up light like that passed through the prism. Now, in daylight, she could finally see this properly. His clothing seemed to stretch, forming a robe-shaped rainbow and colorful aura around him. Hi, Verity, how are you? And he was young, far younger than her shadowed meetings had suggested. He supposedly reigned in Haladrin for decades. Yet the man standing behind her appeared to be no more than 20. She stared at him, awed, mouth open slightly, and any words she had planned to say escaped her. Yeah, Verity, it's story time. We do this every Sunday, so if you want to come back and hang out, it will be on Sundays. Also, good night, Afro. Thank you for being here. Good night. This man was a god. The very air distorted around him. How could she have not seen it? How could she possibly have treated him as she had? She felt like a fool. He regarded her expression blank and unreadable, face so controlled that he reminded Siri of Viviana. Viviana, she shouldn't have been so belligerent. She would have deserved marriage to such a majestic creature. The serving woman hissed quietly, tugging at Siri's dress. Belatedly, Siri dropped to her knees on the stone, the long train of her dress flapping slightly in the wind behind her. Blushweaver knelt obediently on her cushion. Lightsong, however, remained standing, looking across the stadium toward a man he could barely see. The God King wore white, as he often did, for dramatic effect. As the only being to have achieved the 10th heightening, the God King had such strong aura that he could even draw color even from something colorless. Blushweaver glanced up at Lightsong. Why do we kneel? Lightsong asked. I'm kind of confused. I thought Lightsong was the God King. Hi, my Stosis. How are you? Good afternoon. But I am confused. I thought Lightsong was the God King. For me, it's 1 a.m. Oh, that's so late. I'm sorry, Verity. That's our king, Blushweaver hissed. Drop down, fool. What will happen if I don't? Lightsong said. They can't execute me. I'm a god. What will happen if I don't, Lightsong? Oh, I read that. Sorry. You could hurt our cause. Our cause? Lightsong thought. One meeting and I'm already part of her plans? However, he wasn't so foolish that he would needlessly earn the God King's ire. Why risk his perfect life full of people who would carry his chair through the rain and shell his nuts for him? He knelt down on his cushion. The God King's superiority was arbitrary. Much like Lightsong's divinity, both part of a grand game of make-believe. But he found that imaginary things were often only items of real substance in people's lives. Also, that's so good, Jade. And hi, my Stosis. Good afternoon. I'm so excited for you. And hi, Skywalker. Good afternoon. I hope you're having a good day. Siri breathed quickly, kneeling on the stone as before her husband. The entire arena was hushed and still. Eyes downcast, she could still see Susbrun's white cloth feet in front of her. Even they gave off aura of color. The white straps of his sandals bending out colorful ribbons. 2 coils of colorful rope hit the ground on either side of the God King. Siri watched as the ropes twisted with half their own, carefully wrapping around Susbron and pulling him into the air. His white robes fluttered as he was towed up through the space between the canopy and the back wall. Siri leaned forward, watching the ropes deliver her husband to a stone outcropping above. He sat back into the golden throne beside him. A pair of awakener priests commanded their living ropes to roll up around their arms and shoulders. The God King stretched out his hand. The people stood up, their chatter beginning again, and reseated themselves. So, he's not gonna sit with me? She thought as she rose. A part of her was relieved, though another one was just frustrated. She'd been getting over the awe of being in Haladrin and being married to a god, and now he'd gone and impressed her all over again? Troubled, she sat and stared out over the crowds, barely watching as a group of priests entered the arena below. Hi, Celestial Beast! Good afternoon! I hope you're having a good day! What was she to make of Susbron? He couldn't be a god, not really, could he? Oster was the true god of men, and the one who sent the return. The Haladrin had worshipped him too, before the Many War, and the exile of the royal family. Hi, Mew! Good afternoon! Only after that had they fallen, becoming pagans, worshipping the iridescent tones, biochromatic breath, the return, and the art in general. Yet Ciri had never seen Oster. She had been taught about him, but what was one to make of a creature like the God King? That divine halo of color wasn't something that she could ignore. She began to understand just how the people of Haladrin, after nearly being destroyed by their enemies, then being saved by diplomatic skills of Peacegiver, the Blessed, could look to the return for divine guidance. She sighed, glancing to the side as the figure walked up the steps toward her box. It was Bluefinger, hands stained with ink, characteristically scribbling away on a ledger. Even as he entered her pavilion, he glanced up at the God King, nodded to himself, then made another annotation on his ledger. I see that His Immortal Majesty is positioned and that you are properly displayed, vessel. Displayed? Of course, Bluefinger said. That is the main purpose of your visit here. The return didn't get much of a chance to see you when you first came to us. Ciri shivered, trying to maintain a better posture. Shouldn't they be paying attention to the priest down there instead of studying me, I mean? Probably, Bluefinger said, not looking up from his ledger. And thank you for the 5-stream watch streak, Skywalker. I appreciate your support. Also, I'm glad you're having a good day. Thank you for being here. In my experience, they rarely do what they're supposed to. He didn't seem particularly reverent toward them. Ciri let the conversation lapse, thinking Bluefingers had never explained this odd warning to the other night. And, oh, thank you for the check-in, Celestial. Things are not what they seem, Bluefinger, she said. About the thing you told me the other night. He immediately shot her a look, eyes wide and insistent, cutting her off. He turned back to his ledger, The message was obvious. Not right now. Siri sighed, resisting the urge to slump down. Below, the priests of various colors stood on short platforms, debating despite the drizzling rain. She could hear them quite well, yet little of what they say made sense to her. The current debate appeared to have something to do with the way refuse and sewage was handled in the city. Bluefingers, she asked, are they really gods? The scribe hesitated, then looked up from his ledger. Vessel? The return. Do you really think they're divine? That they can see the future? I don't think I'm the right one to ask, Vessel. Let me fetch one of the priests. He can answer your questions. Just give me a... No, Siri said, causing him to stop. I don't want a priest's opinion. I want the opinion of a regular person like you, a typical follower. Bluefingers frowned. All apologies, Vessel, but I'm not a follower of the return. But you work in the palace. And you live there, Vessel. Yet neither of us worship the iridescent tones. You are from Idris? I am from Pankal. Pankal is the same as the Haladrin. Bluefingers raised an eyebrow, pursing his lips. Actually, Vessel, it's quite different. But you're ruled by the God King. We can't accept him as king without worshipping him as our god, Bluefinger said. That is one of the reasons why I am a steward in the palace instead of a priest. His robe, Siri thought. Maybe that's why he always wears brown. She turned, glancing down at the priest, upon their pedestals in the sand. Each wore a different set of colors, each representing, she assumed, a different one of the return. So what do you think of them? Good people? Bluefinger said, but misguided. A little like I think of you, Vessel. She glanced at him. He, however, had already returned back to his ledgers. He wasn't the easiest man with whom to have a conversation. But how do you explain the God King's radiance? Biochroma, Bluefinger said, still scribbling, not sounding at all annoyed by her questions. He was obviously a man accustomed to dealing with interruption. The rest of the return don't bend white into their colors like he does, do they? No, Bluefinger said. Indeed, they do not. They, however, don't hold a wealth of breath that he does, so he is different, Siri said. Why is he born with more? He wasn't, Vessel. The God King's power does not derive from the inherent biochroma of being returned, in that he is identical to the others. However, he holds something else. The light of peace, they call it. A fancy word for a treasure trove of breath that numbers somewhere in the tens of thousands. Tens of thousands, Siri thought? That much? Bluefingers nodded, distractedly. The God Kings are said to be only ones to ever achieve that, the 10th heightening. That is what makes light fracture around him, as well as give him other abilities, the ability to break lifeless commands, for instance, or the ability to awaken objects without touching them, using only the sound of his voice. These powers are less of a function of divinity and more a simple matter of holding so much breath. But where did he get it? The majority of it was originally gathered by the Peacegiver, the Blessed, Bluefinger said. He collected thousands of breaths during the days of the Many-War. He passed those on to the first Haladrin God King. The inheritance has been transferred from father to son for centuries. and has been enlarged since each god king is given 2 breaths each week, instead of the one that the other returned received. Oh, Syria said, sitting back, finding herself oddly disappointed by the news. Sus Brown was not a god. He was simply a man with far more biochroma than normal. But what of the return themselves? Siri folded arms again, still troubled. She'd never been forced to look objectively at what she believed. Oster was simple. Well, God. You didn't question people when they talked about God. The returned were usurpers, who had cast followers of Oster out of Haladrin, not true deities themselves. Hi, Mergie, welcome in. We're doing a story time. I hope you enjoy. We're reading Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. And I'm gonna hydrate because my throat, so it'll be just a moment, guys. Okay. Also, I just noticed. There we go. I just noticed that. I'm sorry. I ruined it. Hopefully it's still nice. Yet, they were so majestic. Why had the royal family been cast out of Haladrin? She knew the official story. She knew the official story taught in Idris. That the royals hadn't supported the conflicts that led up to the mini war. For that, the people had revolted against them. That revolt had been led by Khalid the usurper. Khalid, though Ciri had avoided most of her tutorial sessions, even she knew the stories of that man. He was the one who had led the people of Haladrin in their hearsay of building lifeless. He had created a powerful army of the creatures, ones the likes of which had never been seen in the land. The stories said Khalid's lifeless had been more dangerous, new and distinctive, terrible and destructive. He had eventually been defeated by the Peacegiver, who then ended the many war through diplomacy. The story said that Khalid armies were still out there somewhere, waiting to sweep down and destroy again. She knew that the story was just a legend told by Hearthlight, but still gave her shivers to consider. Regardless, Peacegiver had seized control and stopped the many war. However, he had not restored Haladrin to its rightful rulers. Idris's histories claim betrayal and treachery. The monks spoke of heresies that were too deeply ingrained in Haladrin. Surely the Haladrin people had their own version of the story. Watching the return in their boxes made Ciri wonder. One fact was obvious. Things in Haladrin were a whole lot less terrible than she had been taught. Viviana shivered, cringing as the people in their colorful outfits crowded around her. Things here are worse, even than my tutor said. She decided, wriggling in her seat. Parlin seemed to have lost much of his nervousness about being in such a crowd. He was focused on the debating priest on the floor of the arena. She still couldn't decide if she thought the breath she held was horrible or wonderful. Gradually, she was coming to appreciate that it was horrible because of how wonderful it felt. The more people that surged around her, the more overwhelmed she felt by her breath-heightened perception of them. Surely if Parlin only could sense the sheer scope of all those colors, He wouldn't gawk so dumbly at the costumes. Surely if he could feel the people, he would feel boxed in as she did, unable to breathe. That's it, she thought. I've seen Siri. I know what they've done with her. It's time to go. Turning, she stood and froze. A man was standing 2 rows back, and he was staring directly at Viviana. She normally wouldn't have paid him any attention. He was wearing ragged brown clothing, ripped in places, his trousers loose and tied at the waist by a simple rope. His facial hair was halfway between being a beard and just scruff. His hair was unkempt and came down to his shoulders. And he created a bubble of color around him, so bright that he had to be of the 5th heightening. He stared at her, meeting her eyes, and she had a sudden awful panic sense that he knew exactly who she was. And he created a bubble of color around him so bright that he had to be... Oh my god, I read that. I'm sorry. Really is a nice bedtime story, and your voice is very soothing. I'm glad you're enjoying it. We're gonna do this every Sunday, so if you do want to see it again, it will be next Sunday too. Thank you for being here. She stumbled back. The strange man didn't take his eyes off of her. He shifted, pushing back his cloak and exposing a large black hilted sword at his belt. Few people in Haladrin wore weapons. This man didn't seem to care. How he'd gotten that thing into the court. The people to the sides gave him a wide berth, and Viviana swore she could sense something about the sword. It seemed to darken colors, deepen them, make tans into browns, reds into maroons, blues into navies, as if it had its own biochroma. Parlin said, more sharply than she'd intended, "We're leaving." "But now," Viviana said, turning and rushing away. Her newfound biochromatic senses informed her that this man's eyes were still on her. Now that she realized it, she understood. His eyes were probably what had made her so uncomfortable in the first place. The tutor spoke of this. She thought as she and Parlin made their way to one of the stone exit passages. Life sensed the ability to tell when people are nearby and to tell when they're watching you. Everyone has it to a small degree. Biochroma enhances that. As soon as they entered a passage, the sense of being watched vanished, and Viviana let out a relieved breath. "I don't see why you wanted to leave," Parlin said. "We've seen what we needed to," Viviana said. "I guess," Parlin said. "I thought you might want to listen to what the priests were saying about Idris." Viviana froze. "What?" Parlin frowned, looking distraught. "I think they might be declaring war. Don't we have a treaty?" "Lord God of Colors," Viviana thought, turning and scrambling back up into the open arena. And now we're on chapter 16. "Still say that we cannot possibly justify military action against Idris," a priest shouted. The man wore blue and gold. It was still Mark's high priest. White Song couldn't quite remember the man's name. Nanrova? The argument was not unexpected. White Song leaned forward. Narova and his master Stillmark were both staunch traditionalists. They tended to argue against pretty much every proposal, but were well respected. Stillmark was nearly as old as Blushweaver and was considered wise. Lightsong rubbed his chain. Opposing Nerova was Blushweaver's own high priest. Oh, high priestess. Inhana. Oh, come on now, the woman said from the sands down below. Do we really need to have this argument again? Idris is nothing more than a rebel enclave set up by inside the borders of their own kingdom. They keep to themselves, Ninrova said. Holding lands we don't want any. Oh, we don't want anyway. Lands we don't want, Blushweaver's priest said, sputtering. They hold every single pass to the northern kingdoms, every workable copper mine. They still have military garrisons within striking distance of Tillier. And they still claim to be ruled by the rightful kings of Haladrin. Nenrova fell silent, and that there was a surprisingly large rumble of assent from the watching priests. Lightsong eyed them. You've seated the group with people sympathetic to your cause, he asked. Of course, Blushweaver said. So did others. I just did a better job. The debate continued, stepping up to argue for and against the assault of Idris. The priests spoke of their concerns of the people of the nation. Part of their duty was to listen to the people and study issues of national import, then discuss them here so that the gods who didn't have the opportunity to go out among the people could be kept informed. If an issue came to heed, the gods would make their judgments. They were divided into subgroups, each having responsibility for a certain area. Some gods were in charge of civic issues. Others governed agreements and treaties. Idris was not a new topic for assembly. However, Lightsong had never seen the discussion become so explicit and extreme. Sanctions had been discussed, blockades, even some military pressure, but war? Nobody had said the word yet, but they all knew what the priests were discussing. He could not dispel the images from his dreams, visions of death and pain. He did not accept them as prophetic, but he did acknowledge that they must have something to do. They must have something to do with the worries inside his subconscious. He feared what the war would do to them. Perhaps he was just a coward. It did seem that suppressing Idris would solve so much. You're behind this debate, aren't you? He said, turning to Blushweaver. Behind it? Blushweaver said sweetly. Dear Lightsong, the priests decide the issues to be discussed. Gods don't bother with such mundanity. I'm sure, Lightsong said, reclining. You want my lifeless commands. I wouldn't say that, Blushweaver said. I just want you to be informed should you. She trailed off as Lightsong gave her a flat look. All colors, she swore. Of course I need your commands, Lightsong. Why else would I go to all the trouble to get you up here? You're a very difficult person to manipulate, you know. Nonsense, he said. You just have to promise me that I won't have to do a thing. Then I'll do anything you want. Anything? Anything that doesn't require doing anything. Then that's nothing then. It is? Yes. Well, that's something. Blushweaver rolled her eyes. Lightsong was more troubled than he let on. The arguments for attack had never been so strong. There was proof of military buildup in Idris, and the Highlanders had been particularly stingy with northern passes lately. Beyond that, there was a growing belief that the returned were weaker than they had been in previous generations. Not less powerful in Biochroma, just less divine, less benevolent, less wise. Lightsong happened to agree. It had been 3 years since the return had given up on his or her life to heal someone. The people were growing impatient with their gods. And sorry guys, 1 second, I'm looking for my monster of a bird. He was making some noises that sound like he was being destructive, but it's okay. It looks like he's biting something that he's allowed to bite. The people were growing impatient with their gods. There's more, isn't there? Tiki's at it again. He is. He was biting something and I was hearing the noises and I was like, is he biting like something important? Because he's been a little destructive lately. He destroyed the wall. I'll have to show you guys a picture. Pet pet. Yes, thank you for the pets. I will tell him. I can't reach him right now to pet him. OMG, your ability looks so cute. Hi, welcome in, Panda Knight. And thank you, by the way. There's more, isn't there? He said, glancing at Blushweaver, who was still lounging back, delicately eating cherries. What aren't they saying? Light Song, dear, she said. You were right. Bring you to government proceedings, and it absolutely corrupts you. I just don't like secrets, he said. They make my brain itch, keep me awake at night. Engaging in politics is like pulling off a band-aid. Best to get the pain over with quickly. Blushweaver pursed her lips. For simile, dear. Best I can do at the moment, I'm afraid. Nothing dulls the wit more quickly than politics. Now you were saying? She snorted. I've told you already. The focus is all on this. The focus of all of this is that woman. The queen, he said, glancing at the God King's box. They sent the wrong one, Blushweaver said. The younger instead of the elder. I know, Lightsong said. Clever of them. Clever, Blushweaver said, is downright brilliant. Do you know what a fortune we paid these last 20 years to spy upon, study, and learn about the eldest daughter? Those of us who thought to be careful even studied the second daughter, the one they've made a monk. But the youngest? Nobody gave her a half thought. Thank you for the bits, Jade. I appreciate you. And so the Adrian sent a random element into the court, Lightsong thought. One that upsets plans and conniving that our politicians have been working on for decades. It was brilliant. Nobody knows anything about her, Blushweaver said, frowning deeply. Aw, thank you, Jade. I appreciate you. You're the best. She obviously did not like being taken by surprise. My spies and Indris insist the girl is of little consequence, which makes me worry that she is even more dangerous than I feared. Lightsong raised an eyebrow. And you think maybe that you might be overreacting a tad? Oh? Blushweaver asked. And tell me, what would you do if you wanted to inject an agent into the court? Would you perhaps set up a decoy that you could display, drawing attention away from the real agent, whom you could train secretly with clandestine agenda? Lightsong rubbed his chin. She has a point. Maybe living among so many scheming people tended to make one see plots everywhere. However, the plot that Blushweaver suggested had a very serious chance of being dangerous. What a better way to get an assassin close to the God King than send someone to marry him? No, that wouldn't be it. Killing the God King would just cause Haladrin to go to a rampage. But if they'd send a woman skilled in the art of manipulation, A woman who could secretly poison the mind of the God King. We would need to be ready to act, Blushweaver said. I won't sit and let my kingdom be pulled out from underneath me. I won't idly be cast out as royals once were. You control a fourth of our lifeless. That's 10,000 soldiers who don't need to eat and who can march tirelessly. If we convince the other 3 with commands to join us. How's the bunny and the bird? They're doing good, Jade. Thank you for asking. I'm actually going to post a picture of Tiki that I took last night. He was actually posing. It was super cute. If we could convince the other 3 with commands to join us. Lightsong thought for a moment, then nodded and stood. What are you doing? Blushweaver asked, sitting up. I think I'll go for a stroll, Lightsong said. I'm glad they're both okay, thank you. How's your dad doing? Where? Lightsong glanced over at the queen. Oh, blessed colors, Blushweaver said with a sigh. Lightsong, do not ruin this. We walk a very delicate line here. My dear, Lightsong said, glancing backward. I at least have to chat with her. Nothing would be more intolerable than being overthrown by a person with whom I'd never had a nice conversation with. Blue fingers wandered off. Sometime during the court proceedings, Siri didn't notice she was too busy watching the priest debate. My dad is doing good. He's just asleep at the moment as he has a bad headache. Oh, I hope he feels better. I hope the headache gets better. But I'm glad to hear he's doing good. She had to be misunderstanding. Surely they couldn't be thinking about attacking Idris. What would be the point? What would Haladrin gain? As the priests finished their discussion on the topic, Siri turned to one of her serving women. What was that about? The woman glanced down, not answering. They sounded like they were discussing war, Siri said. They wouldn't really invade, would they? The woman shuffled uncomfortably, then glanced down at her companions. The woman rushed away. A few moments later, the servant returned with Trilitis. Siri frowned slightly. She did not like speaking with that man. Yes, Vessel, the tall man said, eyeing her with his usual air of disdain. She swallowed, refusing to be intimidated. The priest, she said. What were they discussing? Your homeland Idris, Vessel. I know that much, Siri said. What do they want with Idris? It seemed to me, Vessel, that they were arguing about whether or not to attack the rebel province and bring it back under proper royal control. Rebel province? Yes, Vessel. Your people are in a state of rebellion against the rest of the kingdom. But you rebelled against us. Trilitis raised an eyebrow. Different viewpoints on history indeed, Siri thought. I can see how somebody might think as you do, she said, but you wouldn't really attack us, would you? We sent you a queen, just as you demanded. Because of that, the next God King will have a royal blood. I hope so too. I'm gonna let him sleep as he's been up for more than 48 hours. That's crazy. I hope he sleeps well, Jade. But I'm glad he's doing good. Assuming the current God King ever decides to consummate our marriage. Trilitis simply shrugged. It is likely nothing, Vessel. The gods simply need to be appraised of the current political climate of Tillier. His words didn't offer Siri much comfort. She shivered. Should she be doing something? trying to politic in Idris's defense. Vessel, Trelade said. She glanced at him. His peaked hat was so tall it brushed the top of the canopy. In a city full of colors and beauty, for some reason, Truladis's long face seemed to be even bleaker in contrast. Yes? She asked. There is a matter of some delicacy I fear that I must discuss with you. What is that? You are familiar with monarchies, he said. Indeed. You are the daughter of the God King. I assume that you know how important it is to the government that there be a secure, stable plan for succession. I guess. Therefore, Trelidis said, you realize that it is a... Oh my god, it was so loud. Hi, Bringash. Welcome in. Welcome in. How are you? I hope you had a good stream. Thank you so much for the raid, Bringash. Welcome in. I definitely need to turn that down. I'm so sorry it was so loud. Hello, how are you? What were you playing? You were doing Drakengard? I've never heard of that. What is that about? Also, welcome in, Raiders. For anyone that's new here, I'm Savvy Squirrel. I'm a variety streamer. I mainly do spooky content. Today we're reading Warbreaker, and then in about 15 minutes, we're going to be watching some spooky short films. So if you like to watch scary stuff, then you can grab some snackies and get cozy. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for trusting me with your community, Brimgash. Please, guys, go follow Brimgash if you're not following already. I was playing Drakengard 3. Drakengard is where you fly around on a dragon and kill people. Oh, that's so fun! Wait, is it like a battling game, or is it just like for fun? You're just like an evil villain that kills people. I'm just curious. Wait, Sammy, how long? In 15 minutes, we're gonna start the spooky short films. I'm actually gonna stop in like 5 minutes and 10 minutes and take a break so I can go get like a snack. And then we're gonna start the spooky films. I'm not gonna end stream though, I'm just gonna put you guys on the BRB. So 5 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of reading, and then we're gonna go on a small 5-minute break so I can use the bathroom and then get a snack. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna watch some scary films. I'm very excited. I hope you're excited. And welcome, Brimgash. Thank you again for the raid. I appreciate you so much. If you guys are not following, please go follow Brimgash. They play a ton of cool games. And he's a really nice person, so you should definitely check him out. It's got a story, and you are kind of an anti-hero. It's a Yoko Taro game. So it's pretty great morals, and good guys are bad guys, and bad guys are good guys, and stuff. Oh, that sounds interesting. I'm gonna have to go look at your VOD so I can check it out. But I hope you had a great stream, Brimgash. And if anyone needs a raid and run, I definitely understand. But if not, grab some snackies and get cozy. And it's same to you, Brimgash. If you need to do after stream care, please let me know. If you want to hang out, though, you're more than welcome to hang out. And I appreciate you so much again. Thank you. Let me see. Okay, I lost my spot. Oh, here we go. We were on this side. I lost my spot. I'm sorry, guys. I like hanging out. I appreciate you, Brimgash. I like having you here. Where is this? But I will get food first. Oh, take pictures! Let me know what you get. Make sure you bring it up for the class. You're okay, no need for say sorry. Oh, thank you, Jade. I appreciate you. You are familiar with monarchies, he said. Indeed, you are the daughter of the king. I assume that you know how important it is to government that there be a secure, stable plan for succession. I guess. Therefore, Trilletta said, you realize that it is of no small importance that an heir be provided as quickly as possible. Siri blushed. We're working on that. With all due respect, Vessel, Trilletta said, there is some degree of disagreement upon whether or not you actually are. Siri blushed further, hair reddening as she glanced away from the callous eyes. Such arguments, of course, are limited to those inside the palace, Trilletta said. You can trust in the discretion of our staff and priest. How do you know? Siri said, looking up. I mean about us. Maybe we are working on it. Maybe you'll have your heir before you know it. Trilletta's blinked once, slowly regarding her as if she were a ledger to be added up and accounted. Vessel, he said, do you honestly think that we would take an unfamiliar foreign woman and place her in close proximity to our most holy of gods without keeping a watch? Siri felt her breath catch, and she had a moment of horror. Of course, she thought. Of course they were watching, to make sure I didn't hurt the God King, to make certain that things went according to plan. Being naked before her husband was bad enough. To be so exposed before men like Trilletta's, men who saw her not as a woman. Also, hi, Lightning Wolf. Good afternoon. Not as a woman, but as an annoyance. Felt even worse somehow. She found herself slouching, arms wrapping around her chest, its revealing neckline. Now, Trilletta said, leaning. No, not lightning to you, Phoenix. Oh, hi, Phoenix. You changed your name? Now, Trilletta said, leaning in. We understand that the God King may not be what you expected. He may even be difficult to work with. You are a woman, however, and should know how to use your charms to motivate. Hello, and yes, to match my boyfriend Thunderfox. Oh, that's so fun. That's so cute. But hi, Phoenix. I hope you're having a good day. How can I motivate if I can't talk to him or look at him? She snapped. I'm sure you'll find a way, Trilletta said. You only have this one task in this palace. You want to make certain Idris is protected. Well, give the God King's priesthood what we desire, and your rebels will earn our appreciation. My colleagues and I have no small influence in the court, and we can do much to safeguard your homeland. All we ask is that you perform this single duty. Give us an heir. Give the kingdom stability. Not everything in Haladrin is as cohesive as it may appear to you at first. Siri remained slouched, not looking at Trilletta's. I see that you understand, he said. I feel that. He trailed off. Turning to the side, a procession was approaching to Siri's box. Its members wore gold and red. A tall figure at the front of them caused them to shine with vibrant color. Trilletta's frowned, then glanced at her. We will speak further if it becomes necessary. Do your duty, Vessel, or there will be consequences. With that, the priest withdrew. She didn't look dangerous. That, more than anything else, made Lightsong inclined to believe Blushweaver's concerns. I've been in the court for far too long, he thought to himself, as he smiled pleasantly at the queen. All my life, actually. She was a small thing, much younger than he had expected, barely a woman. She looked intimidated as he nodded to her, waiting while his priest arranged furniture for him. Then he sat, accepting some grapes from the queen's serving women, even though he wasn't hungry. Your Majesty, he said, it's a pleasure to meet you, I'm sure. Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, I'm sure. The girl hesitated. You're sure? Figure of speech, my dear, Lightsong said. A rather redundant one. Which is quite appropriate since I am a rather redundant person. The girl cocked her head. Colors, Lightsong thought. Remembering that she'd just finished with her period of isolation, I'm probably the only return that she has met besides the God King. What a bad first impression. Still, there was nothing to be done about it. Lightsong, who he was who he was, whoever that was. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance, Your Grace, the Queen said slowly. She turned as a serving woman whispered his name to her. Lightsong the Brave, Lord of Heroes, she said, smiling at him. There was hesitancy about her. Either she had not been trained for formal situations, which Lightsong found difficult to believe, since she had been raised in a palace, or she was quite a good actress. He frowned inwardly. The woman's arrival should have put an end to the discussions of war, but instead, she had only exacerbated them. He kept his eyes open for her. He feared the images of destruction he would see flashing inside his mind's eye if he so much as blinked. They waited like Khaled's phantoms, hovering just beyond his vision. And with that, I'm going to stop it here. We will continue this next time. We're going to take a small, intermission, I guess is what we can call it. I'm going to use the bathroom and grab a snack. And then we're going to watch some spooky short horror films. So I hope you guys are excited. We're going to take a small little break. You got a nice story time voice. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, we're going to take a small little break. Also, again, hi Brizzy. Thank you so much for hanging out. But yeah, sorry I'm repeating myself. We're going to take a small break and then we're going to watch some spooky short horror films. So if you love spooky stuff, make sure you stick around. We're going to start in just a few minutes. I'm just going to take a little break from my voice and get a little snack. So I'll be right back, guys. See you in a minute. Goodbye. Oh, you guys can play this game if you want to. If you want to play it, here's the instructions. Oh, my keyboard's off. There's the instructions for you guys if you want to play. I'll be right back. pause the game. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I think it's end. Let's see who won. Oh, Az, you won. Usually only Ruby wins. Good job, guys. Good job. Az got 190. Welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let's go back to the game. So, I'm gonna go and close this thingy. We're gonna pull up the YouTube stuff. So that was fun. Let me get the YouTube up. But hi guys, I hope you guys had a nice little break. Let me see. I know Ruby was doing Wonder and then I decided to play when he did. You did so good. You did really good. Let me see. What is this? And then the audio. What is this? Okay, audio. Okay. It should pop up in just a moment. Oh, it's a game capture. I did the wrong one. Sorry. There we go. Oh, is it ads? Okay, we'll play some music and wait for ads and then we'll go. Let me see. You did so good. I hope you had a good weekend. I did. How was your 4th of July? Did you have a good weekend? Hi, War. Good evening. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Yeah, I hope you had a good weekend too. I hope you guys all had a good 4th of July. Did anyone do anything fun? I just mainly relaxed. Oh, that's not bad. I hope you had a good relax. Did you watch fireworks? I said a good relax. I hope it was a very good time relaxing. What is this? Oh, okay. How was that work? Oh, you had to work during the fireworks. I'm sorry. I've been here. I just didn't want to interrupt the story time with my acorn. No, it's okay. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you more than you know. Even if you came in and interrupted, I would be happy to see you. We are gonna watch the some spooky short films. I'm just gonna wait for the ads. Oh no, it's over. It says thanks for sticking through the ad break. Okay, so welcome back from ads, everyone. We are doing our normal spooky time. I will pause for ads during the spooky video, so don't worry, you will not miss a thing. But we haven't done this in a while. We've been so busy and things have been getting canceled. So I hope you guys are hyped as me. I have missed watching these spooky videos. I love these ones. So I hope you guys enjoy. This first video is called The Fireplace. This one is by Signal Box Films. I'm sorry, my throat is still so scratchy.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Thank you for the hydrate. I actually have a yogurt here I was eating during the little break. I'm gonna eat a little bite of it, so I might be muted for a second. I missed it. I'm so hyped even if some are scary. Oh, I'm so glad you missed it. I missed it too. I'm glad you guys are here to hang out with me.
Hey, you.
Oh wait. Before we continue, I have to turn off the other stream. Goodbye, YouTube. Goodbye, TikTok. Thank you for hanging out, guys. I'm sorry that they're strict and you guys can't watch this with us. You can always come to the Purple app. The link is in my bio. So come hang out on Twitch if you would like to watch some spooky stuff. Okay, let me end those. And then I'm ending that one. It says an error occurred. Is this still going? It should not be going. Have a fun stream. Thank you. I'm like, I don't want it to keep streaming to them. It should be like turned off. Oh yeah, I'm gonna hope it canceled. I can't tell. Ruby, are you still here? Also, hi Ruka Erica. How are you? Can you tell if the YouTube stream went off? That's the most important one, to make sure that it went off. That one, it gets really mad. Before I play these videos and they get mad at me. Let me see. I can't tell. Yeah, I think it went off. I think it's good. It looks like it's off. I think. So it should be good. TikTok's still going. Let me check YouTube. I don't know why it didn't turn it off. I clicked the button. Let me refresh it maybe. Docs. Restream channels. Oh yeah, it says it's still going. Okay, off and off.